Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Collective. I'm your host, Laura Malone, and you are in the right place if you want to make an impact in your life and the lives of the people around you. Maybe you even want to turn your gift of helping others into an income so you can support your family and your dreams and make a way for your calling. I'm here to guide you because you deserve to have encouragement and resources and somebody invested in you as you go invest yourself into everyone else. Let's dive into today's episode. Yesterday, I had one of those days. You know the days I'm talking about. And I felt like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to about it. I needed a fixer. I needed somebody to look at me and say, I got a guy. It started with a day really just not having enough hours in it to begin with. And you know what that feels like. So then I was trying to manage my mind about feeling overwhelmed, basically from the get-go. I was also managing my mind about feeling like I lacked capacity for where I'm at and everything on my plate. So all of the work spinning in my head from the day before still felt like too much. The hard situations that have been floating around me for a month or so haven't resolved yet, at least like in the natural realm. And then I had yesterday all these little things starting to pile on. The kind of things that wouldn't necessarily catch your attention if they didn't seem to be part of a 20-car pileup, right? So it was like I was being bitten by bad bugs all day long. I don't have bed bugs, not bed bugs, bad bugs. Those are what I call those invisible thoughts that are like floating around, and they would love to attack me. They want to get me to give in to the bad life, bad world, bad God paradigm. Right. And the Bible, I think the Bible calls them fiery darts. So that's what I think bad bugs look like. They're like wasps with fire on their stingers. And they're just waiting. Like they're not landing and like not necessarily landing on me. They're just there. And they're waiting for me to agree with them. They want me to partner with the fire. They want me to partner with the pain. They want me to partner with hopeless, powerless interpretations of hard things. So things like the fan in the bathroom won't work for some reason. And it's real hard for a girl to do her hair and her makeup when the bathroom is steamy and like the mirrors are fogged up, right? But the fan won't work. And also just like a hot person, especially at this stage of my life, just hot all the time. I'm hot inside, outside, like hot. I need the bathroom fan to work. And it works today. It just didn't work yesterday. What the heck? And then let's say like my computer, after being connected to the charging cord overnight, my computer was not fully charged for whatever reason. And then my internet browsers, like once I actually sat down with my computer, like Safari and Chrome would not load. I had internet, but the browsers wouldn't load once I started working. And then like 15 minutes later, I finally got one working. I open up the folder with the documents that I need. And the one PDF I was looking to refer to for the specific work I needed to do right then was the only document that would not open. It told me the file is bad. And then when I went to the account I need to go to so that I could download a new one, it said my login was incorrect. And you know what I'm talking about here, like the pain of being told your login is wrong when you know it's not. You know that's the right email address. You know that that is the right password. The computer is wrong. You know. Then I come home from not working, kind of, and the trunk of my car wouldn't open. So I'm like, manually, I'm like, oh no, it's like broken. I have to take it in. I couldn't find the tape for the box that I needed to take to the UPS yesterday. I was like, do I really have to stop at the store to buy tape? What is happening? And it was just like so on. There was like 5 or 6 more things, but you get my drift. And I'm not here to have like a complaining session, partly because you don't deserve that. You have enough things in your own life to deal with, so you don't need a list of mine. But also partly because I woke up to some things like that still happening, as in my microphone not working, my recording software on my computer not working to try to record this episode. What is going on, right? So today I'm looking back and I'm saying, what happened and what hindsight do I have so I can know how I did what I did and got through what I got through? This is part of my coaching tool called the Confidence Cache. And that's an acronym. It's spelled like CACHE, as in a collection of something, not like cash money, because nobody needs to be putting confidence in that. So, especially in this day and age. But basically, confidence cache is the confidence, and that is the willingness to show up and try, regardless of the outcome, with acceptance of any emotion that comes with that outcome. Then there's the action we take, the clarity we get from the action and the results of it, the hindsight of how we did it, and then the resulting emotion of feeling ready to do it. And then that cycles back into greater confidence to keep being willing to show up and try. So think of it this way. I woke up yesterday. I decided to operate from confidence, like willingness to show up and try. There's a little bit of like overwhelm that wanted to be involved, a little bit of lack of capacity, questioning. But I was just like, listen, I'm willing to show up and keep trying. I didn't know the outcome of the day yet or any of the things, and I didn't know what kind of emotions I was going to need to face, but I was simply willing. That was the confidence I started the day with. Then I simply started taking action and trying to do what I needed and wanted to do. Then I began facing small challenges that started adding up to the emotion of frustration and a sense of like, why is nothing working? But remember, if confidence is the willingness to try and show up and try, and then like, regardless of whatever the outcome is going to be and what emotions I'm going to face, I needed to accept that frustration was just part of this process. And then in hindsight, I can see that actually like over minutes or hours or whatever, all of those things eventually resolved themselves. And now they're in yesterday. So I didn't bring them into today with me, even regardless of the fact my recording software and my like microphone is not, they're not in agreement with me, but I don't care. Like, I'm gonna keep going. So those things that happened yesterday, they're not happening today. It's because I didn't pull them behind me. I didn't attach to them. I didn't dwell on them while I was sleeping. I didn't take my frustration out on other people because of them. And I didn't wake up today thinking it's going to be horrible. I can't handle one little thing going wrong or not working. In hindsight, this is my practice. Look back at the hindsight, the clarity in the hindsight to see how. So how doesn't come before you try. How doesn't come before you take action. How is in the hindsight. So in hindsight, I see I was purling situations throughout the day, which means that I was managing my paradigm, my emotions, so I would take helpful action to get the results I wanted and ultimately like create a legacy of good fruit throughout the day. In hindsight, I could see that all of those little things were just things. They were just like situations that happen to anyone and everyone. And the difference was my paradigm and subsequent emotions about the situation. So here's the deal. In the past, old Laura would have handled all of it differently, especially old gluten Laura, because she would have been raging by noon. My little side note there, if you don't know from other episodes, is that like gluten is highly inflammatory and also causes my emotions to get way out of control, along with like joint pain, brain fog, and just crazy, right? So I've been gluten-free for 10 years, both for my body and for the safety of my family. There's actually like restaurants with my Polaroid at the hostess stand that says, "Do not serve." Don't let her in. As a story for another time. So in the past, old Laura would have taken these little things personally, and she would have seen it as the world being against her, that God wasn't paying attention today. Her family wouldn't be willing to help her. She had no friends in the world, because if she did have friends, these things wouldn't be happening, because her friends would be surrounding her with the magic of their company and their attention, right? Like, have you ever felt like that? Like, it's this little thing, right? Like the car, you're out of gas in the car. And it feels like you interpret it to mean my life is over. Nobody loves me. So, yes. Have you ever felt like if only these things were in order and happening for you, then these things wouldn't happen? But when you look at these things and see, actually, those things happen to anyone at any time, and then you realize you're just having thoughts about them. And those thoughts either lead you to feeling better, worse, or nothing, right? Then you do things that either make the situation worse or that helps you get through it. Then you find at the end of the day that you haven't been ruled by the little things that were adding up. See, only I have control over me. Only you have control over you. And the control we have is over our paradigm, our emotions, our actions, and the results. And then the legacy all of those things culminate in. So I can't control the car. Not really. Like, if it's going to break, it's going to break. I can't control the computer. If it doesn't want to work, it's not going to work. I can't control the barista, the other drivers on the highway, the document demons that attack my purpose and my passion. All I can control is the thoughts and beliefs that I have that influence my emotions, that inspire my actions, and then create results I choose to live from, that all add up to a legacy of either a joyful life or a despairing, hopeless life. And I have had that before. So when I spent each day thinking I was doomed because of all the hard stuff, the legacy I ended up creating in my pearl was depression. And there were years of it. I wish that I had had the knowledge of the pearl practice back then, and the knowledge that I'm not a victim of the world around me or of other people's actions and inactions or of the events that have happened to me. I wish I'd realized, like, I'm a victim of my own thought life. But the awesome thing is that I have the power to change my thought life. So I don't have to be a victim anymore, because I can change my thought life. So in hindsight, I see I was actually pearling throughout the day, unconsciously really, so that I could stay in peace. So there were a few times I think I felt kind of close to losing it from like the frustration I felt. But when that was happening to me, I felt the frustration, and I, rather than suppressing it, so it would be, lava later that flowed out onto other people, I allowed the frustration to be there instead of like buffering. So I let it flow. I experienced it, but I didn't make the frustration mean anything. I didn't interpret it, the things going on, as if my world was upside down and it was proof God doesn't love me anymore, right? So when you interpret the situation you're in as if it's fatal, you will feel hopeless and powerless. And then you'll do the things that hopeless, powerless people do. You will try to control, or you will withdraw, or you'll get bitter and offended. And all of the things that create basically results that you don't actually want if you stop to think about it. So when you interpret situations as if hard things happen and you're going to get through it, that God's banner over you is love, He makes the heavy things light, you'll see that there are things you have to set your eyes on so that you can experience the peace. Don't lean on your own understanding. And then you'll get peace that surpasses understanding. Can God give you a sudden emotion of joy and hope without you necessarily trying for it or shifting your mind? Yeah. But more often than not, like throughout the day, every day, you actually need to manage your own mind because he's just not really in the control business. He gives us the tools. Like I'm giving you this right now. You're listening on purpose. God is showing you how to manage yourself and lead yourself well and take personal responsibility. And because God gave me the pearl practice, like as a tool, like I had a revelation. I didn't come up with this. I didn't like sit down and try to manifest an accurate acronym that would change people's lives. It was like a download. So you have to let God show up when he's showing up, like outside of your paradigm and emotions and will. But mostly you have to take responsibility for yourself. It's kind of like, can God heal you? Yes. His desire is always for healing. But if you keep eating, like if you got healed from diabetes, but you keep eating things that cause diabetes in your body, like that's not you taking personal responsibility, right? So could God heal you again and again and again and again and again? He could, but you're not partnering with him. Like you're outside of the alignment with healing. You're not partnering. You don't seem to want it. You keep taking action that will lead to being sick, right? It's the same thing with your thought life. It's all of these things. It's not just God's job to make us think and feel better so that we do the things that we need to do. It's ours. And we can blame the world, we can blame the devil, we can blame God, we can blame all the past events, etc. You know this, like we could sit here and blame and be victims, or we could just say, wow, I could make changes. And that is so empowering, right? You have to manage your own mind and you have to think on things that support your victory, not things that rob it. Things that grow your faith, not things that grow your fear. You have to take personal responsibility for what you believe and what you do with that belief. It has to inform and invade your thought life and not just keep it in the back of your mind or in that space of like intelligence that doesn't really have a direct line of impact on your actual paradigm and belief system. I know it because I read it is not, I know it because I have experienced it. When you believe and think the truth, your emotions are going to flow from the truth, and then your actions are inspired from truth, and the results you get will be good fruit instead of bad or rotten or poisonous fruit, right? So in hindsight, I'm looking at how did I make it through the day yesterday? I wasn't consciously deciding each time to sit down and manage myself and to pearl on a Post-it what was happening with each situation. I was just living like a person with the tool who interprets things with a clean filter and lives like I have hope and expectancy that God is good. And don't get me wrong, that was yesterday. I have my pity party days, my fits of anger days, my what the heck is wrong with this world days. Yesterday just wasn't one of them. And my practice of looking back to get the clarity and hindsight helped me kind of feel encouraged that what I am doing is working. So I thought I'd share it with you because I like to share my wins and my celebrations, and I'm just calling yesterday a victory. The devil wasn't the one I focused on and blamed for all of the trials or even the wasps, those bad bugs. God wasn't trying to punish me or test me. I was not out of God's will or doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and the universe was not trying to get my attention. Life was just happening, and I was responding to it. Because I have been doing this work, because I use these tools, I was able to respond from a place of peace and awareness and expectancy instead of expectation, and from empowered personal responsibility. So my paradigm today is these days in this season, in this part of my life, is more informed by my intentional choices instead of the generational thinking and the habits and the cycles I grew up with and unhealthy, harmful default ways that I used to allow to um, create my paradigm because I wasn't intentional about my thought life. But now I decide what I think on and what I meditate on and what I look at and whose eyes I look into to get my truth, right? So be encouraged that God is for you and He is good and life happens, but you have power and responsibility to change how you interpret all the things happening to lead yourself well. So instead of getting sick over, at heart over what's wrong and what's not going right and what is broken, what's standing in your way, where you're stuck, read Joshua 1:9 and stand firm and be courageous. Write out something God's spoken to you. Repeat His promises and His purposes for you. Read them again and again. Create a legacy statement about who you want to be and who you want to impact and how you want to live your life and how you're going to go about it. Then read that daily. And I invite you to get coached on your own paradigm and your emotions and actions and results and legacy by either booking sessions to work with me or jumping on the wait list for the Women's Coaching Club that opens this fall, or learning how to coach in the Greenhouse course, which actually walks you through all of the tools to coach both yourself and others, whether you have coaching business and you have clients, or you have kids or students or members of your church or whoever it is that you love discipling and influencing with the truth, is coaching tools and techniques and empowerment and courage, like they will help you. So have a great day, friends. Don't let the bad bugs bite you. Your thought life is really the best bug repellent if you'll use it wisely and consistently. If you'd like to work with me and get coaching, become a coach, or start a coaching business, check out all the courses and coaching I offer at sterlingandstonementoring.com, or you can scroll through the show notes to find all the links that you need. I pray that your day will be full of joy, hope, transformation, and the presence of God.